Hello and welcome to Getting Candid with me, your girl Helen. So the past week, we just saw some news. I personally just saw news on social media, people complaining about how Natasha Mapulanga, the current Miss Zambia, is not going to Miss World, and she only got the news the day before traveling. I saw Manga talk about it, I saw Alice Rollins talk about it, and I was like, what is really going on? I went through and checked here and there, and I saw a lot of people that are in the beauty industry complaining and sympathizing with Natasha. So we thought, let's invite Natasha on the show and just have a chat and get her side of story. Now, let me just give you a little background of who Natasha is. Natasha is the current Miss Zambia. She was crowned Miss Zambia in 2022. And let me go through her bio and show you some of the things that she has achieved. She was the first runner-up of Miss Teen Zambia in 2013. She was Miss Freedom World in 2014, Miss Heritage Zambia 2016, and Miss Heritage Global 2016 Top 15. Commercial model, she's a commercial model, and also she's a menstrual health advocate, and she also has a full-time job at protocol office at the Bank of Zambia. Join me on the other side as I chat with Natasha. Welcome back. So I mentioned that I'll be chatting with Natasha Mapulanga. I hope you guys have invited your friends to watch this interview, because this was a trending story, and it's always better if we get a side of story for the person who is actually into the situation. But for me, I'm thinking, Natasha, how are you? How are you really?
Hi, Helen.
Hi.
I'm well.
Yeah.
I'm doing much better than I thought. Obviously, last week was hectic, but I'm well. I'm okay. I'm coping.
Good. It's good that you're coping well. We should say you're coping well, because when I saw it, I wasn't the one participating, but I just put myself in your shoes. Mm-hmm. I saw your Instagram stories, and you shared how you prepared for the journey, and I'm like, you even bought gifts for your friends,
right,
that you were supposed to participate with.
Correct.
Spent so much money, time, and you were working out. So obviously your diet wasn't the same.
No.
And then you just received, boom. Before I even get to that, firstly, how long did it take you to prepare? You were crowned Miss Zambia in 2022.
Correct.
When did you start preparing for Miss World?
So the Miss World competition has always been a childhood dream. So it started from childhood, but the official preparation started in 2020. So initially in 2014, I competed for the Miss Zambia, and I came out second runner-up.
Yeah.
I always told myself I'd go back, because the end goal was to go to the Miss World. So at the back of my mind, I always knew that Miss World was the end goal. I went to school, I graduated, but during my years of adversity, I had already started preparing for the Miss Zambia competition, which in turn also prepares you for the Miss World competition. So I think the holistic approach of preparation started 2020, I should say.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time to just have your dream shattered, like in your face.
Right.
But just tell me, when you were crowned Miss Zambia, firstly, I want to understand the kind of relationship that you have with the board, Miss Zambia board. When you were crowned Miss Zambia in 2022, what were your duties as Miss Zambia?
So Miss Zambia is a beacon of hope. She serves as a symbol to help out in society and her community. So it's mostly social welfare projects, and to also just be part of conversations around women empowerment, youth empowerment, especially the young girls. Yeah, and also the entertainment side of it, the beauty, the cosmetics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how was that for you?
It was really nice. I enjoy doing what I do. And also I model. Before being crowned Miss Zambia, I was modeling professionally.
Yeah.
So I also made a name for myself in the industry as Natasha John the model. So I would get around with people. So when I got crowned, it was an added bonus. So people would gladly call me for events to attend or to grace their shows, and to have talks with, you know, several people from different places and different backgrounds, really. And for me to get an opportunity to engage with anyone really is a blessing for me. I always enjoy that.
Okay, nice. So the organizing team are the ones that put in place some things for you to do, like, oh, you have to run to this place, you have to do this place, you won, we need you to because I'll be honest, I don't know what's been happening, because I remember when we were young growing up, we would know there's Miss Zambia, there's this, and then ZNBC would show it and we would watch it. But now, I mean, now, because it's not everything that airs on ZNBC that we have to know about. There's social media, there's so many ways. But I don't see adverts. And I was just telling you a story, like, before we started interviewing, like the Miss Zambia before you, I met her and I'm like, oh, you're so tall, you look like a woman. She's like, oh, I'm the current Miss Zambia. I'm like, okay, I know I'm not in the beauty, but I'm in the entertainment industry, and I kind of always know what is going on, but I never really know when Miss Zambia is happening. Usually you only see it after and people are congratulating you. It was the same for you. It's like, when you, oh, congratulations, you don't really pay attention, because there was no hype around it. What's happening is Miss Zambia, like, what's happening?
I think it's got a lot to do with marketing of the brand.
Yeah.
And that also has a lot to do with management of the Miss Zambia organization. I think everyone, I think my uncles, my aunts, they would all say, like, Miss Zambia back then was the it thing.
Yeah.
But now you can't really compare it to the way that it was at that time.
Yeah.
I think over the years, because it's not an annual pageant, there's a lot of inconsistency in having the pageant. It's supposed to be annual, but that's not the case because of various reasons based on, you know, that management know best. And I think because of that, it slowly started going down bit by bit. And then also the queens never really get the support that we need. So it also adds to that, plus the lack of proper marketing of the brand. So those three put together, it's a recipe that creates you not knowing who the current Miss Zambia is, and you even feel bad for it, like, oh no, I'm so sorry, I should know this. But
I really felt like that.
You shouldn't even feel bad, because it's our end, it's our problem. We're the ones that are supposed to make it a thing, because we understand the value of the pageant. So because we understand, we should be in charge of mediating or spreading that out to people, for people to know and understand that we're still here, our presence has to be felt, and all of that is up to us. But that's not the case. So
I'm thinking, if we're not hyping up the event, where we are supposed to know about the event, the common people, how easy, or is it hard for you to get now in the future to do your work as Miss Zambia? Because I should expect your phone to ring with deals, and you know, people want to endorse you, people want you to come and speak at this. Were you getting what you needed to get? Because I think if there's hype and a lot of people know about it, a lot of companies know about it, a lot of people want to be associated with you. We see that all the time. Was it easy, or you had to push in a lot more again after winning the pageant? Because it's supposed to be easy after.
It's definitely supposed to be easy. I mean, we have a lot of countries where the queen just wakes up and she's told, you're going to be here today at this time.
Exactly.
Your makeup will be done, your clothing is this and that. We clearly have to do that on our own. Like I said before, I was also a model before attaining the title of the Miss Zambia. So a lot of people already know me as a model. So it's been easy with my network for them to onboard me onto certain things. And of course, certain things I had to aggressively push for them for myself. But for me, the end goal has always been the Miss World competition. So leading up to the competition and me finally winning, I knew what was expected of me and what I needed to do. So most of the things I did for myself, but I had no problem with that, because my end goal was the Miss World. So I had no problem with that, but that's not what's supposed to happen. Typically what's supposed to happen is that management is supposed to handle all those things for you, and you just show up.
And that's what I want to say. Like, you can say, I didn't have a problem. It is a problem.
It is.
You didn't have a problem because you're passionate. It's what you want, and you know your end goal. Like, I need to go to Miss World. Whatever happens, I'll sacrifice, if it's my personal money, whatever I have to do. And I get that. People that are passionate about what they do, we usually just dip into whatever we can. But it's just sad that it has to happen like that, because Miss Zambia is too big a pageant, and we needed to see something a bit more professional, a bit more than what's happening right now. I was listening to what Mayenga said, and I think he expressed a lot of things that have been happening that a lot of us from outside didn't know. But it makes sense, because Miss Zambia is not the way it used to be.
No.
Now, what did you win?
So I won a cash prize, some endorsements with Swiss Arabian. So I got like monthly perfumes.
Okay.
And
just perfumes?
Yes.
Okay.
And a cosmetic deal with Shodo, and Movid products as well. Yes, and I was also supposed to get a car, but my contract states that I only get the car after the successful completion or competition of the Miss World.
Which you didn't.
Which I have not gone for. So I don't know with regards to that.
Okay, well, we would love to. I would love to know personally,
Yeah.
because I'm thinking you didn't go not because
It wasn't my fault.
Yeah, like you
Right.
did your part, as far as we know, which I'm yet to have you unpack here. So we hope they give you a car, though. I really hope they do, and I think a lot of people out there are really thinking they should give her the car.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah, we keep the hope.
Yeah.
So just run us through preparations. You're preparing. I saw videos of you doing traditional dances, buying, working out. How was it? And I'm sure you were enjoying that process, though. Was
Absolutely.
it rough and enjoyable?
It was very difficult. I think the gym part was very difficult because I'm not a gym person.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just have a
I also-
natural.
I think
good
so. I think
figure.
I'm naturally lean for
Yeah,
now
okay.
because metabolism changes as you get
Yeah.
older. Right. So, what the structure of the Miss World is that you travel, right? So you travel. You're usually there for like a month. So the
okay.
final night will usually be a day before you all fly out back to your home countries. But the days leading up to the final night, you have a series of tasks or competitions, categories of competitions, where you're assessed. So the first one is the head-to-head challenge, where it's basically they test your eloquence and public speaking.
Okay.
And also it's your chance to share with the world your social welfare project, which is called Beauty with a Purpose. Right. Then there's the top model challenge, where they really just assess your modeling skills, your body, how you walk in the clothes, how you sell the clothes. And then you also have the sports, which is usually track, bib tests. Some elements change per year depending on the host country. So like this year in India, they did cricket.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was football, sort of like football. But usually you find the swimming, the bib test, and then there's also the relay, the tag. Yeah. And then outside of sports, there's also the actual Beauty with a Purpose, where you present your video and you show them what you're doing in your country.
Okay.
And so the best video presentations usually win that. And there's also the multimedia challenge. So the multimedia is the social media who is rallying votes based off of their social media, who has the most likes, who has the better engagement with the world out of all the contestants. So these 5, when you're assessed, once you win any of these 5, you're automatically pushed into the top 40. So on the final night, they'll announce the top 40, and then they cut you down to top 20, right? But these 5, when you win one of these, you already know that night you'll be called into the top 40. Yeah. And so I was preparing for these 5, right? And before that, you also have the preliminary interviews with the judges, where you speak one-on-one with the judges and they sort of get to know you based off of that. And that also carries a lot of weight. And that's what consolidates the judges' top 20, leading up to top 5, until you have to answer the final questions. Right, so I was preparing for sports, keeping fit and staying lean, and also just having my body in the most healthy and fittest way, because the competition is very tasking. It's not an easy thing, so you're better off being healthy while you take on the whole journey than being unhealthy, because it will really take a toll on you. So the physical aspect matters. I was also working on eloquence and public speaking.
Yeah, and you speak well.
Oh, thank
by
you.
the way. Yeah.
Thank you. So yes, I was working on that with my friends. We used to have live chats, virtual conversations where they prepare Q&A questions, and then I'm also ready to take on the answers. I'm very lucky to also have a team that's very supportive.
Yeah.
So I have a pageant sister friend of mine. Her name is Louie. We're very close. I met her at the Miss Heritage pageant, and we've been sisters since.
Yeah.
So she was coaching me through this because she's very intelligent, and
Is
she's
it
also
Louis?
Kawanda.
Okay, I think I know the name. Like
Yes,
some-
Louis
yeah.
Lusa Kawanda.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So she would just coach me through the process, and for her, she knew to not be biased in the process. So she had to bully me in most of the processes. She had to be very open-minded and non-biased. But she also had to had like a strict hand, because you're going for a competition and you don't know who you're going up against. But in that competition, you also want to be your most authentic self, but you want to bring the best version of yourself in as much as you're being authentic, because the judges are not going to look at one woman. They're going to look at over 120 girls to speak to and all of that. And so I also had to change my diet. So I cut off the sugars, I cut off all the sodas. I was trying to eat very clean, and it was very difficult because I eat all the bad food, but I knew what was at stake, and I managed. I think I did. And there was also wardrobe that I had to prepare for. Because you go for so many days, you have to prepare a lot of outfits. Yes, very stressful. It was very, very stressful. So you prepare, it's a minimum in a day, you need 2 to 3 outfits.
What? And you're going for a month?
You're going for a month. Only because sometimes you have maybe 2 events in a day. So if you have a day event, you have 1 outfit, and then in the evening you probably have a gala or something and you need another outfit for that. Or sometimes if you have 2-day events, you might find that you're going for a conference somewhere. You have to change, you have to be formal, obviously. And in the afternoon, if you're going somewhere that's more a bit open and free, you have to change it from your formal outfit to something a bit more casual. And if you have another night thing, you have to come back again and then change. So I think minimum 2 to 3 outfits, that's what we had done for my wardrobe preparations. And then also we lined them up based off of the schedule, the Miss World schedule, just for me to be well in order to understand, like, oh, on day 1 I'm wearing this, day 2 I'm wearing this. So
they gave you the schedule in advance?
We were given a schedule, yes, nice. That was shared with us. So mostly that's what encompassed my preparations. And it was a bit difficult for me to do all of that because I also have a full-time job that is also very demanding. But I'm also very blessed to have a great boss. My immediate supervisor, she really looked out for me, and the whole department really was very supportive. So I didn't feel alone. It was very tasking, but I didn't feel alone because everyone was interested and they were, supporting me and just cheering me on. So when things got hard, there was always someone to remind me, like, you know why you're starting this, you know where you're going, so keep pushing.
Nice. But what was like getting gifts for your friends? That's just to show you, like, social.
So that's typical Miss World tradition. I think pageant tradition. Usually when you travel, you have to share something from your country.
Oh, okay.
So you give to the Miss World organization, people in the team, and then you also give to your fellow contestants, just to show them that this is a piece of Zambia.
Eh?
It's very expensive. And then also for the Miss World, you have to take something to auction for their charities that side. We were looking at some pieces from Jewel of Africa. And, well, we didn't really get into it to get the auction piece, but that's just some of the things we did in terms of preparations to get to the Miss World.
Oh, I'm so sorry that all that just like went in. Should I say in vain?
Yes.
Kind of went in vain.
Absolutely went in vain.
Ish.
Thank you.
That is just sad. So how did they break the news to you? How did you find out that you're not going?
Okay, so I made a call on the day that departures for the Miss World had started. So the Miss World was starting on the 18th of February, meaning countries like ours, Southern Africa, were supposed to depart on the 17th if you have to arrive on the 18th that side. In India, by the way. So that Saturday, I placed a call to the national director. I won't mention her name. I think everyone knows. Yes, so I placed a call and I asked her what was going on, because days before that, we had not spoken. And I was really just trying to find out what was going on, and I needed an update because I was supposed to be leaving that very day. And she just basically said that she felt that we needed to sit it out.
Why?
And so on the call, I asked her what she meant by sitting it out. I said, what do you mean? Do you mean like not going? And she says, yes, I'm just in contact with the Miss World now. I'm just going to tell them that we sit it out because I feel from you there's a lack of commitment. And
From you?
From my end, yes. So I said, how can you say that? I was sort of not believing it. So I said, how would you say that? Because I started explaining to her what I have already been preparing and what I've done. And she felt that, she told me like, no, I've gotten opinions from several people. I said, who? She said, oh no, the dance instructor, because she had arranged for the dance instructor to coach me in the lessons. And then she says, no, I spoke to her and she told me to just give you a chance. And I spoke to another person and they told me to just give you a chance, but I feel like you're just not committed. I said, so what does this mean for us? She's like, no, we'll just sit it out. So for me, I believe that there are other reasons behind that. It's really not my end, because I was very prepared for this. I was extremely prepared.
Here's my thing. Firstly, you mentioned to say because you had not spoken for days.
Right.
You're preparing for Miss World. You are the current Miss Zambia. Aren't you supposed to be working hand in hand throughout the preparation with the director?
Yes.
Also, why did she have to hear from people that you're not committed? Meaning she wasn't involved, because she was going to assess you herself.
Correct.
And she was going to know herself, not other people.
Right. And also, why was I hearing of that on that day?
Exactly, because if she knew earlier, she would have said, look, should have probably even been hard on you, because I think that's like your coach. She was supposed to say, look, Natasha, you're not being serious. I think if you don't get serious, we're going to sit it out.
Correct.
You were going to know there's this possibility of not going. So, oh my God, that just sounds wrong.
Yeah.
So then that's it.
Also, she says, anyway, you might go, I'll call you back. And then she dropped the call.
That's the day before traveling.
The day that I was supposed to leave.
Oh my God. And then there's the you might.
You might go, I'll call you back. And then she drops the call. And before I could say anything, actually, she just cut. So I didn't even want to call her back, because at that point I knew what was happening, but I was also confused. So I didn't know whether to cry or to laugh at what was happening and what I was just hearing. And so I carried on, because I still needed to complete like a lot of videos. So I continued with that. And then she texted me after 10 or 15 minutes to say she'd call me back. And I never got the call. And I also didn't try to call back or anything. So Sunday went by, Monday went by. And at that point I knew, because if you don't leave Sunday or Monday, then
that's it.
That's it.
Wow. And then they released the statement.
Yes. I think the statement was released because we needed, for me, I was getting a lot of messages from pageant fans, as well as supporters, friends and families also, who knew that I was supposed to try, because I took leave, you know, and even from my place of work, they knew that Natasha is not supposed to be around, but if they're not hearing anything about you leaving, because they also rallied support for me as well. So we was getting so many questions about, when are you leaving, why haven't you left, and all of that. So you can't keep telling everyone the same story. So Mundi had decided to say, you know, let's write something and let's inform people of what's happening. And so that's what we did, and that's how the statement came out.
That's just sad. So money was spent. Which designers were you working with from local?
So I worked with Bopa. That's my best friend, Martina Chikumbi. She's known as Tina Mireille. So she's a very good designer. She went to China for school, so she knows her craft. And she also made my final dress for the Miss World, the evening gown, very beautiful. I was also working with the King of Suits, Nkandayato Kavaso. He was gracious enough to do, I think, 7 or 8 pieces. No, actually 8, because he also added a dress. I had very nice suits. And I was also working with House of Vonetta. She did some very elegant dresses for me. I wanted to post them that day, but I was thinking they're too gorgeous.
Yeah.
I shouldn't show them just yet. I might need them.
You'll use them.
Sooner or later, yes.
I'm just thinking that, thank God for the people that supported all these designers and coming on board. And that's the thing. Oh,
sorry. I also worked with Faith 911 Closet.
Oh, nice.
Yes, she's good.
Because I'm just thinking that, you see, we look at it as in just you going, but you were going to carry a lot of people on your back.
Exactly.
The designers, it was going to be a world stage. You were going to advertise local designers. And even those gifts that you bought, Zambian craft, you were going to sell Zambia. You were going to talk about Zambian tourism. There's so much that you're going to do for our country in that pageant. So if it's taken lightly, like telling somebody the day before, not even thinking about the emotional state when that happens. Because there's people that can say, I'll just commit suicide. I really wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Because there's emotional states, it's just sad. What would you like to see change with Miss Zambia? We've heard opinions from other people, like Mainga talking about how he wants Miss Zambia people to just step down, they should get fresh people. What do you think should happen? And have you had a conversation with them? Firstly, I think that answer that first.
No, we
have you guys sat down?
No, not yet.
Why?
I think time. I think it'll come with time. I'm not looking to have a conversation right now.
Yeah.
But it'll come with time. We'll have to.
Have they reached out though?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What would you like to see happen differently? Because obviously you are passionate about this.
There's a lot of change that we need. The management, the mindset first of all needs to change, because you're going for a world competition and this person is not just representing themselves, they're representing the country. Because even when you get to Miss World, they don't call you by your name, they call you by your country.
Exactly.
So everyone's like, oh, Zambia this, you haven't, oh, Miss Norway hasn't done this, Miss this. So you are the face of the entire country, you're carrying the nation on your back.
You are the brand ambassador.
You are the brand ambassador.
Yeah.
So you need all the support that you can get, you know. So if the team that is sending you does not understand that, then you're destined to fail. You have already lost before you even leave. And I think for us queens, we haven't placed in Zambia because we always live very underprepared. Not because we don't know that we're going to compete or that we don't want to do well. We are just really frustrated by management a lot, and a lot of things work against us than for us.
Yeah.
I think for me, I've been privileged enough to have friends and family that really support me. I know for Mundi, she is a fashion designer. She's based in Denmark, but she's Zambian. I model for her brand as well, so she was also adding to my wardrobe for the Miss World, and we spent so much money for that, and she was very hands-on.
Yeah.
And she was trying to also like help with the entire process, but management wouldn't let her. You know what I mean? So it's like, why are you fighting
people that are making
people
the job
that
easier?
are trying to make it easier for us?
Yeah.
And it was hard to get around that, but because they're the ones who are running the show, you sort of just have to allow them to do what they want or as they please, but to also just, I mentioned to them diplomatically that we need the help. And this is someone, I'm their brand ambassador, and she's putting in this much in order for us to go and do well. And whether we like it or not, wardrobe has a lot of weight. I know they say don't judge a book by its cover, but that's all that we ever do.
Yeah.
So even as you go in your queenly duties, you need to look the part.
Yeah.
Right? So management has to change, the mentality has to change, because if they keep cutting people off that are supposed to help management itself, then they're not helping themselves. And management also needs to be open to new ideas, fresh ideas. Who's coming in? What are the new things that are happening in the pageant world? Oh, so Miss World have stopped doing this. It's now outdated. We need to do this. We've upgraded. It's more modern. So we also need to move with the times that the world is moving at.
Yeah.
So there's a whole complete mindset change. I don't know if some people have to be reshuffled in management, but yeah, it has to be a 360 change. It has to be a complete, total change. But it's a lot of work that needs to be done for us to get to a place where we can send queens that are up to par and equal to the task to bring the glory back home for the country.
I like that. What's next for you? Do you think you will try to go for Miss World next year? Oh, is it this year? Next year? Yeah.
The Miss World will announce if they don't, so because even they have been postponing the pageant. So it's happening on the 9th of March. So you may find that because they want to catch up with the years, because they didn't have it last year, they might want to have another one in December, or they'll have one early next year. So I'm not too sure. Right now, I'm just in my grieving process.
Yeah.
I haven't really thought of what's next for me, but obviously go back for work. When my leave is done, I'm still on a mini vacation because
it's actually good that you're on leave so that you can just clear your mind.
Just clear my mind, exactly. But after that, I think I'll start to set in some plans, the aftermath, because really this has really derailed me. I had a whole set of things lined up for myself, but this came as a blow, big blow in my face. So for now, I just want to reset.
I know, I can imagine. I can imagine that. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Helen. I'm a fan of yours.
I'm
a fan of yours. I've been a fan of the show. I've always watched. I never thought I'd be here. But I'm glad to be here. Yeah. But I'm glad to be here, even under such circumstances. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Keep being strong. We know you'll come back, and we hope you come back strong, and more pageants for you.
I will. No, just one more international.
just one
more international one.
You're not doing anything local, eh? I know,
No,
Miss Zambia is like the biggest,
yes.
yeah. So you have to just aim for international, but then
Right.
we'll be seeing you grace the runways, obviously. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Helen.
Alrighty, guys, I hope you enjoyed this chat, and we've gotten what Natasha had to say. I really feel bad, and I just hope this is something that can be taken serious. Miss Zambia is a big pageant that can sell so many parts of Zambia: tourism, talk about fashion, all that. So we need to take it serious. I hope the board can listen and we see change. From me, your girl, Helen. Thanks for watching.